Hey there guys, it's your boy Kingxley here. I'm back for another video. I just want to start off by saying huge thank you for the support that I got on my last video. It was really overwhelming, really happy, and I'm just glad to bring you this video about defining your goals. Really important video on my YouTube channel. So yeah, defining your objectives is something that is so important because you're going to project yourself into the future. You're going to define what are the things that you want to have, what are the things that you want to do. And just like every year, every year we're trying to be better, and those objectives that you're going to set yourself, they are going to help you become a better person. I know personally, I had to set myself goals, I had to set myself objectives because I just knew that I wanted to become better, and I just knew that there's no point kind of living my life and not kind of doing anything. I just thought that let's keep track of what we are doing. Let's keep track of something that I know that I want to become better at that. I want to become kind of professional at that as well. I want to become like a pro. First of all, like when we talk about objectives, when we talk about goals, we always we have to think about what are the things that you want to achieve. And bear in mind that the goals that you have for yourself, they can be personal, and they are very personal. It doesn't matter what you want to achieve in a couple of months, couple of years, even if it's a small thing is still a goal, it's still like a progression, it's still progress. So it doesn't matter what kind of objectives you set yourself, just set yourself the different things that you want to have for this year and for the years that are to come, for this month and the month that are to come, because you're going to work on them. We are going to be encouraging ourselves to work on those goals and achieve it, because every year, I'm sure that every year the main goal and the thing that we are most happy is because we kind of elevate ourselves. We always become better people, better person individually every year, and this is because we define those goals at the beginning of the year. But I'm sure that you've got goals that you set yourself at the beginning of the year, but those goals, they're going to be slightly different from those, because the objectives that you're going to set yourself, there are things that you're going to work on during this year. They're not going to be goals that you will achieve at the end of the next year, but there are things that you're going to project yourself into the future. So it could be a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago. If I could give you guys a tip, I know that for me personally, I have primary goals and secondary goals. But my primary goals, there are things that I want to work on. It doesn't matter what kind of goal. If there's a goal that I want to achieve, they will be on my primary goals. But my secondary goals, they are more goals that there are goals that I want to achieve, but it kind of depends on something in my life, or it depends on a certain parameter. If I set myself in the right way, depending maybe on previous goals that I've set myself, I know that I would want those goals to come in. But there are goals that's not as important, but there are still things that I would wish to have. So now that you have set yourself those goals, we have to define two things. How hard are you going to work on those goals, and also the priorities, like which goal do we have to work on first. And in order to help us to do that, to figure it out, we have to find out about the time frame about those goals. You have to define the time frame. So look at your life, look at where you are now, and try to see yourself, like, when do you think it is a good time for you to kind of have that goal? When do you want that goal to come in? Do you want that goal to come in a couple of months? Do you want to see that goal in a couple of years? Maybe some of the goals that you have set yourself, you want them right now, but you have to work on them. So how long do you think it's going to take you for you to achieve those goals? So trying to write it down next to your goal, trying to write something like the year will be good. For me personally, I know that I don't really write the month, I write the year, because on the progress that I'm going to make, I work on a yearly basis. And I know that most of the time I achieve that goal before the end of the year. So it doesn't matter which month really for me, but more like the year, because once I've achieved a goal, I'm free to work on other goals that I've set myself, and also I can work on the remaining goals that I have. So yeah, you have to think back to what you want to achieve. What are the things that you want to do? What are the things that you want to have? What are the things that you want to introduce into your life that will make a big difference to you? I know personally, I had many goals which I'm going to share with you when I first started, and those are goals that allowed me to be the person that I am now, but there are goals that kind of set myself up for the years that were to come. Now those goals I was able to achieve it, but some of my goals that I set myself for like 1 year, 2 years, they were really kind of basic goals that was maybe about the way that I think, the way that I do, the way that things used to be. And because I kind of achieved those goals, they allowed me to kind of project myself into the future, set harder goals if you want, but goals that I knew that I'm able to get to that stage because of the previous goals that I was able to achieve. So as an example of a goal that I had personally, I know that one of the goals I wanted to do is to figure out what do I do with my free time. That was even before obviously I did YouTube. That was like a time when I just thought that everyone were just doing their own thing when in their free time, but I didn't feel like I was using my free time effectively. But when it was more an encouragement for me to kind of look at things that I can do in my free time that will kind of make some kind of progress, something that I can follow, something that I know that if I'm doing it, I'm gonna become a better person every year. And yeah, this one, as I've said, it was kind of really easy to figure out. It's just I had to kind of take the time to figure out what I want to do with my free time. But it allowed me to see the time that was available to me and use it to good effect. So now that we have defined the goals, we have defined the time frame for those goals, there's something we need to think about, which is the progress for those goals. How are we going to progress about those goals? How are we going to go about it? For someone like me, I know that one of our objectives was to kind of speak another language. And to speak another language, I had to kind of look at what are the things that's available for me. I know that online there's a lot of resources for people to learn new languages. So I know that to make progress to learn a new language, I had to go online and go to certain website to learn that language, practice, in the week, 2 to 3 times a week. Make sure that I do that consistently on a regular basis. So for you, what are the things that, based on the objectives that you have, how are you going to work on those goals? And there's no one way to work about those goals. Progress is defined differently depending on people. Small progress is still progress in my opinion, so don't feel bad about something you're like, oh yeah, but it's so small, because for someone it might be so small, but for you it might be so big. So just trying to figure out how are you going to work on those goals, what are the things that you do to achieve it, and that will be the work that you do for that goal. So, I just mentioned that, for small progress is still progress. I say that because I know that for me personally, I know that sometimes some of the goals I set myself, they mean a lot to me. So I'll stress myself over and over. I'm like, today we have to work on that. Today we have to work on that. But what you have to remember is that the goals that you've set yourself, you're going to work on those goals on top of your normal life. So for me, that's a university student, I know that I have to work on my goals as well as the things that I do for my course, the things that I do for my learning. So you shouldn't be stressing yourself over like the objectives that you have, but just figure out time that you're going to work on those goals. And even if there's a day where you don't work on those goals, it's fine, because tomorrow there's always an opportunity to work on those goals. So figure out your goals and just know that sometimes there will be times when you will be able to make huge progress on those goals, and there will be times when you will make smaller progress, but progress is still progress. So once you have kind of figured out how you're going to make progress about those goals, obviously we kind of skip time forward, and you achieve those goals. That is the objectives, obviously. That's the main aim for those goals, is for you to have them. So for me, I know personally that when I achieve the goal that I said about like talking another language, or even more like figuring out the free time that I have, it was kind of a relief. It was overwhelming, because you see that as a human being, as a person, you can set yourself things that you will achieve in the longer term, and that is the beauty of goals. So once you have achieved your goals, I'll encourage you to kind of write down new goals. And for the more advanced people, for the people that really they take this kind of objective thing seriously, you can even make progress on the goals that you have just achieved. Because as human beings, we can always make progress on things, things that we do in our daily life. We can always make them better. So if that's one of your objectives, obviously I kind of encourage you to write it down in the list that you have, and I'm also kind of sending you my support for those goals. Even though that thing is achieved, you want to make it better. So thank you guys for checking out this video about defining your goals. As I said, for me it's a really important video because it's a really strong starting point. Do check out the link down in the description. You'll find the link to my website, my socials, you can interact there. Yeah, you can also check out my latest video, which is about my channel presentation, if you have not seen that one. And yeah, until next time guys, take care and goodbye.